Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tip-Off 2021-2022. Dr. Ron Poniewasz and Professor of Basketball around the county, Larry Kelly. You have grown into your professor status. Now you have a sport that you know something about.
A little bit about. Can we agree that I know a little bit about basketball? I mean, if only because I've hung around Ralph Belundo for the last 12 years, I got to know a little bit about basketball. So, and I don't know. Again, the challenge that we put out there for football, nobody took us up on it. So, I don't know. Maybe those guys are a little bit afraid of me. I don't know. But we're fired up and ready to go to talk about hoops.
Okay, this segment is the Red Hurricane Report. We will talk about the Newcastle High boys basketball program, and then we will also have a small discussion on the Newcastle High girls basketball program. As you all know, Larry Kelly is the 9th grade boys basketball coach at Newcastle, so he's more than qualified to tell us a lot about Newcastle, and anything that he provides that he shouldn't provide, it's on Larry. I am exempt from getting yelled at from Coach Blundo. So Larry, keep it clean, and but keep it interesting, please.
Oh, here's the deal. I am the eternal optimist. On the other hand, Coach Blundo is the eternal pessimist. I see everything right that the young men do. He sees everything wrong. Look, he's the best coach in Western Pennsylvania. If you're asking Larry Kelly, that's a biased opinion, but I've seen it in action. And you need a little bit of both, I think, on your coaching staff. You know, you need the coach that looks at it critically and says, this is where we can be better. And you also need coaches who look at it and tell the kids how good they are. I'm a firm believer that if you believe you can, you will. And if you believe you can't, you won't. If you're a Newcastle Red Hurricane basketball fan, buy your tickets. It's going to be a special season. I believe that we have a real chance to be a Pennsylvania state champion this year. That's how good we are. We went through the summer and fall season, and I think we might have lost once or twice. And that's not always indicative of how you're going to do, but certainly a portent of the talent that's coming through the system. We have a lot of great players coming back. I mean, we lost 2 great players. Donnie Cade, as you might recall, in the Whitfield championship game, he had 14 rebounds, and I think 9 of them were in the fourth quarter. Sheldon Cox, a great player. I think Sheldon had 20-plus points in the Whitfield championship game. Those are 2 great players that we lost. But we are bringing back a boatload of talent. And I think this year we could actually be deeper talent-wise than any team that we've had since I've been involved with the Newcastle coaching staff, and I've been involved for 12 years. It's going to be a special season for a lot of reasons, starting with Michael Wells, Michael Graham, 2 seniors that are just outstanding basketball players. Both of them have gotten better. Michael Wells is an outstanding shooter. We know that, but he's gotten even stronger. He's a beast inside. He gets the ball in the paint. He's going to score. I don't know how anybody's going to stop him in there. Michael Graham is the straw that stirs the drink. He is the point guard who makes a lot of things happen. He's gotten better. His shooting touch. I watched the scrimmage against Franklin on Saturday. He probably had 5 or 6 3-pointers, and his stroke is really good. Speaking of shooting touch, Isaiah Boyce. If there has been a better 3-point shooter in Newcastle in my time there, I haven't seen it. There might be some that was good. Gino DeMonico was fabulous 3-point shooter. Sheldon Cox was a fabulous 3-point shooter. But Isaiah Boyce is in that class. He has a stroke that is as good as anything I've ever seen at the high school level. Jonathan Anderson has become a different player. Over the summer, his game just developed to the extent that, he's received a scholarship offer from Seton Hill, which is a PSAC Division II school. If you can play in the PSAC, you are a great basketball player. His game has developed, and he's become such a better player because of his maturity and his ability to score, not only from the three-point line, but also in the paint. His ability to penetrate and make things happen. Kamari Perkins, wait till you see this kid run the court. He's about 6'4" now, gets up and down the court, great defensive player, is going to help us offensively also. Deshaun Young, the mayor's son, Chris Fry, what a great player he is. I was watching him against Franklin, and his ability on the front of our 31 full court press to deflect balls, to make steals, is really going to make our press something really, really special this year. Andre Jackson, Duna, he's become a better player this year. A young man that nobody's ever heard of who played for me as a ninth grader who will see playing time, Nick Wallace. Nick Wallace is going to be a kid that the Newcastle fans are going to fall in love with. He's a very cerebral player. He makes all the right plays. He can score, and he can create scoring opportunities for other players. The fans are going to love Nick Wallace, and he played for me as a ninth grader and was special. And we haven't even talked about the quarterback of the Newcastle football team, Chris Hood, who is this kid's just a gamer. One of those kids that's just a winner, that the bigger the moment, the better he gets. He's going to be in that rotation this year. So, it's going to be something special. Newcastle basketball is going to be something special this year. And, if you're a season ticket holder, when they start selling the tickets, get in line, because you don't want to miss this.
Tuesday, November 30th, I believe, is Tuesday. That's they're having a round of ticket sales for season tickets, and then the following Tuesday. So if everybody out there is dialed into this and can write that down on their calendars, that's when season tickets go on sale. We've been having that in our daily pages of the Newcastle News and the bulletin board segment, and I believe. I don't want to quote the times, because if I get it wrong, I'll get yelled at. But the two Tuesdays, Tuesday the 30th, and then the following Tuesday. So definitely check our daily pages for times. A couple guys that you mentioned, Larry, Michael Wells last year, 17.4 points a game, team leader. Sheldon Cox graduated at 16.5. Those were your two guys. Isaiah Boyce also was in double figures at 13.6. Michael Graham, 7.7. Jonathan Anderson, 5.5. Donnie Cade graduated. He was at 5.8. Those are the numbers that I have off the top of my head. Larry, you touched on Kamari Perkins, 6'4". He's going to be a post presence, and that's one thing in all my years of covering Newcastle basketball, from John Sarandria to Mark Stanley to now with Ralph Blundo. The one thing that if somebody were to ask me if there was one thing missing that Newcastle needed, even the year that they won a state title, that would have been, behooved them to have an even better season, I think it would be size. I think Ralph Blundo would say, boy, we could go for a little bit more size. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I think if all those teams, if they had just a little bit more size, imagine how great they would be. Well, this year they do have that size, and they have that experience. And when I talked to Ralph for the basketball preview, he was really excited, almost to the point where I thought he was going to flat out tell me, I wish it was opening night right now. I mean, I got that excitement vibe from him that night on the phone when we talked. And like I say, he mentioned the experience that they have this year and the size, and that's great for the program.
The way Newcastle plays basketball, size, I don't think is a big factor, because we defend 94 feet. Nobody really plays basketball with their back to the basket anymore like they did in the old days. It's more of an up-tempo motion type of game, where execution of your offense is really important. But having said that, Kamari Perkins is not only 6'4", he runs the court like a guard. And his defensive presence, his rebounding ability is certainly going to help us be a better team. But the thing that's going to make us better is everybody that I mentioned has gotten better. They've improved their game. They worked hard all fall and all summer. And, when you watch Jonathan Anderson, you're not going to recognize his game. Mm-hmm. He's a different player than he was last year, and it's not even close. Michael Wells is a grown man. Not only can he stroke three-pointers, but we have certain plays that we set him up to get him the ball in the paint. Nobody's going to stop him. He's just that good. Isaiah Boyce might be the best shooter, as I told you, from three-point land that I've ever seen. And when Michael Graham is shooting the ball well, as he has been all summer, all fall, and in the scrimmage, I don't know how you're going to guard that young man, because his ability to penetrate and create off the dribble is something that is almost unstoppable. So, again, the eternal optimist that I am, I'm sure if you talk to Coach Belundo, he will point out a few things that, maybe we're not doing well yet. But under his guidance and tutelage and the talent that we have on this court, we have a chance to win a state championship this year. And I don't just say that lightly, because I know what's awaiting us if we go across the state and have to play one of those teams from Philadelphia. But we're that good, Ronnie. Mm-hmm. We're that good.
Yeah, when I got off the phone with Coach Belundo that night, probably the first thing I said to myself was, boy, they're going to be pretty expletive good this year. And I think a lot of people would agree with that. And last year they were 21-3, a district championship, the 14th in the program's history, which is tops all time around the WPIL, surpassing Aliquippa's 13, and Aliquippa is now in District 10, as everybody knows.
You mean Farrell? You're talking about Farrell.
Or Farrell, I'm sorry, Farrell. Yeah, not Aliquippa, Farrell. Yeah, they surpassed Farrell. And, I really think that this team could possibly, as you say, contend for a state championship. Last year, and I asked Ralph about this on Sunday night when I had to call him for a couple other things. Larry, there recently, I don't know how recently it was, actually. I want to say it was either Terry Francona or Mike Hargrove, and I think it was Mike Hargrove. Somebody asked him, how long did it take you to get over losing the World Series against the Marlins, Game 7? I'm pretty sure it would have been Mike Hargrove if that was the case. And he says, I'll let you know when I get over it. And this has been how many years? Well, I asked Ralph, I says, Ralph, how long did it take you to get over your loss to Erie Cathedral Prep in the state playoffs? He says, never. I'm never getting over that. He says, just basically, just things that they did in that game that got away from him. And, and then there was a couple teams, I think, that he mentioned that opted out from the playoffs for COVID reasons from out east. And, I don't want to say that, it was an easier road, but, just the stars were kind of aligning. And then, you're playing games at home in the state playoffs. You were playing games at home in the district playoffs all the way through the semifinals. And, he still feels that got away from him. And, as a quote unquote fan or somebody that has followed the program for 20 years, it hurt me. I hated to see the program lose last year. I was stunned. I really thought that, get the bus ready to head out to Hershey.
Yeah, that was a really difficult loss to Erie Prep. It just was. We had a 6-point lead with a minute to go in a game. And Newcastle, we don't lose those games. But when you're playing high school basketball and you're playing with young men who are 16, 17, 18 years old, anything can happen. And as a coach, it haunts you. I still dream about the state playoff game that the Shenango Wildcats lost. And sometimes I wonder, had I done something differently, might it have made a difference? So as a coach, you're always thinking like that. And I don't need to tell you that Ralph takes it seriously. And, that's why he's great. He eats it, drinks it, lives it, sleeps it, and he gives it his all. He leaves nothing on the table and nothing to chance. And that's why he's won. Is it 7? I lost track. 7 Whitfield championships. Is that what he's won now?
Well, if it's wrong, we'll each get a phone call or a text message. One of the two.
I think it's 7. I was counting the banners the other day. I think it's 7. I know we went, we've had 3 in a row twice, and then we won again last year. So
Yeah.
It's a special program. And when you've won more Whitfield championships than the Farrell Steelers,
Mm-hmm.
you're great. And that's who Newcastle basketball is. But it doesn't just happen. You got to work. You got to grind it. You got to, as he likes to say, and I like to say, got to be mentally tough and laser focused every day. And if you can bring that kind of focus and energy into the gym, you got pretty good chance of winning.
That's Ralph chiming in right now saying, get it right, Larry.
My wife's getting a phone call. It could be. Now, he's going to get mad at me because, again, I am the eternal optimist. And, I tell kids how good they are. He tells them how bad they are. But somewhere in between, it works. So.
Well, isn't that a trademark of a really good coach, Larry? I've heard whether you're a high school coach, or college or pro, thinking right now the example would be the NFL. I've heard NFL coaches get on their teams in film study the next week after they win 45-0 or something like that, and the players are saying, didn't we win last week? Didn't the other team only have about 50 yards of total offense and we shut them out? And well, that's what a good team does. They will find things that you need to get better at, penalties or turnovers or anything like that. Well, that's a mark of a good coach. That's who Ralph is. The fact that they might win 88-40, okay, great, you won by 48 points, but he's going to find things. He's going to find that pass that shouldn't have been passed there, should have been passed over here, or turnovers, or silly fouls, or anything like that. And that's what Ralph is. He is a great coach in that regard. He's going to find things to get better at.
Well, it's the pursuit of excellence, And I say, whether you're coaching or you're a lawyer, I tell young lawyers all the time, you can't be perfect, but you can always be excellent. And that's what Ralph preaches, the pursuit of excellence. Control the controllables. There might be some nights you don't shoot well, but there should be no night you don't defend well. You might turn the ball over and make a physical error, but you shouldn't make a mental error. You should execute the plays defensively. You should be where you need to be. And it's those little things that I think that the Newcastle program really does better than everybody else. Nobody, at least in my view, executes offensively and defensively better than the Newcastle Red Hurricane. And that's certainly a tribute to Ralph, because our film study, when we go over it, he points out everything that needs to be done that is correctable. And that's why I think, at least, and I know this is a biased opinion, that he's the best coach in Western Pennsylvania. And maybe in all sports, I don't know, but certainly in basketball, in my view.
I really don't know who would argue with you on that, Larry, and I don't know who would argue with a straight face either, because he's got all the accomplishments. He's got Coach of the Year awards. He's got district championships. He's got a state championship. I don't know if there's anything that he has not done, to be honest with you.
If you look at his record and you look at the number of championships that we've won, and there's not very many that record could match up. There's a few out there that are really great high school basketball coaches. Tim McConnell down in Chartiers Valley has quite a resume, but they're few and far between. He's certainly in a class of a few. Ralph is certainly in a class of only a few coaches.
Sure. One thing, Larry, that's interesting, when I talk to Ralph and I look at the roster and I hear all the names and all the talent that they have, and you can only play 5 at once, obviously, and you have all those kind of scorers, and then you have all that talent that's coming off the bench. You see it with like the Los Angeles Rams, and people are saying, where's all the footballs going? You got all these receivers and all that stuff. Well, is there enough basketballs on the court? Is there enough to keep the kids grounded so that they're not trying to out-battle each other's success, I guess is a way to put it. How is this team going to get along with each other in that regard, in terms of staying grounded and things like that?
selfishness will never occur under Ralph Belundo's reign. That's one thing you will never have to worry about.
Right.
It's not about me. It's about us. How are we going to do this? We're going to do it together, and everybody understands that. I don't think there's a selfish bone in the body of any one of our players. And if there was, it would be extracted by Coach Belundo.
Sure.
We could have never have attained the success that we've had over the last, this is now our 12th year, if it was a program that had selfish players. You know, my 9th grade team, every year I make the same speech, first day of practice. There's 2 ways you can play this game. It's all about me. And if it's all about you, I tell them, I'm okay with that. You just can't play at Newcastle. Go play down the Y. The other way to live and play the game is count on me. And at Newcastle, we have young men who we can count on to do what's necessary, not necessarily for them, but for the team. And that's why we're successful.
Sure. Okay. Anything else, Larry, that you'd like to say about the upcoming season or anything like that?
It's going to be a great year. Get your tickets. We missed the fans last year, not having a full house. That's an advantage that we have at the field house that nobody else has. There is no other atmosphere that could replicate what occurs at the Newcastle field house on a Newcastle high school basketball night. And, you know, in some of the big games there through the years, it's just so exciting. And we look forward to having all the fans back and the energy and the excitement in the gym. It's going to be a great year. Get your tickets because it's going to be a great year.
When I became an attorney, I chose to stay here because my friends and neighbors needed a lawyer they can count on. I believe that if you're hurt on the job, you shouldn't have to go it alone, especially if your employer or the insurance company tries to bully you. You can count on me to get you the workers' compensation benefits that you deserve. Even if it gets rough, I'm not going anywhere. I'll stand my ground right here where I've always been. I'm Larry Kelly, and I'm a Newcastle guy.